Yes, fellas, welcome to the show. I just heard from Greece last night. Looks like he's still alive. What happened was he was supposed to write me back on a Saturday, and he disappeared. His tablet broke. He hasn't got paid from his money yet. It's supposed to be on Tuesday or something. Anyway, finally got a hold of the brother. He went out and bought a laptop and contacted me. Sorry, had a bad bout this morning. She said, I'm not going to be here forever, fellas. That's why he would ask your questions now. And someone's asking me a question about the whole life story thing. He's continuing. He said, I just listened to the audio on the life story. I get your point on breadcrumbs. The thing is, to get to know the person and build rapport, where's the balance to know? Or topics you found are enough to get to know her well enough as a person before the first sexual encounter. And I never really had any certain topics. I give you guys topics that you can talk about, but every time I've talked to a girl, it's always been different. We sit down, we start talking, and usually, as I try to explain to them, these women, they wanted to have sex with me before I even met them. Like if I was doing them online, getting to know them online, they were ready to fuck by the time they met me for coffee. You know, I took my time online. Nightclubs, I usually bought them home from the club. Or if not, then I set up the coffee date, as I learned to do late. Now, I didn't start doing coffee dates till my 40s, okay? Before that, if they couldn't come over that night, I would arrange for the time for them to come over. But we always just ended up in sex. So I didn't do that, and I'm glad I never got involved. I'm glad that actually this community, this online fucked up community, wasn't around in the 90s. I'm glad there were no computers back in the 90s, because that would have fucked up my game. I would have been just like you guys. Not pulling females home fucking them that night. Instead doing the datey thing. And most of the stuff I'd already had found out, you know, talked to him about beforehand. I try to give you guys topics that you can use, like, you know, where's she from? And then get everything you can about that. And in truth, that was one of the subjects I did use, but not always. A lot of times it was about their job or their life. You've seen my emails that I've shown you guys, my instant messaging stuff. You know, my conversation was didn't have it would start with, you know, something they would say, and I would explore what they were talking about, so to speak. So this guy continues. He's looking for the perfect topics. He's looking for the magic. Still doing PUA thought, which I think is a left brain function. You left brain people, you guys want the exact, do this exactly. If you do this exactly, you'll get the pussy instead of having the flow to it, which I understand is harder for you guys to learn to flow with the conversation. You need A1, A2. Okay, now ask this question. Don't even worry about listening. She blathers on. You just wait patiently, getting bored. Like I always get a lot of guys, I get bored talking to girls. I hate those kind of guys. I'm sorry, I hate that type of shit. Why bother having conversation? It's boring. To me, it was fun. It was exciting. And I learned to use conversation. I learned to talk to them, especially when I start talking dirty to them. Like over IM instant messaging. Before someone says, how do you talk dirty to him in person? I rarely did in person, unless I was in the bedroom. So, or topics you found are enough to get to know her well as a person before the first sexual encounter. So if you just use your head, you know what topics you want to ask her to get to know her pretty well before you fuck her, right? Where's she from? What does she do? What's her past? Because I always want to know about their past. Have you met a lot of guys offline? Really? Any good stories to tell? I love to hear good stories from women about their online dating escapades. I don't know if I told you once about the girl that I talked to. She said she fell in love with this guy. He was supposed to be a surgeon, and he was about 6'4". She fell in love with him over the internet, and then they would talk on the phone. She never met the dude, and then she, he's about I said about 6'4", African American. She was a white woman, and she finally decided to drive halfway to meet him. I'm not sure where she lived, but the guy lived in L.A. and they met in Bakersfield at some restaurant that had a bar in it, and she said she was sitting there for like an hour and a half, and she finally said, "Okay, he's not coming." She got to leave. There was a black guy that was about 5 foot tall and about 5 feet wide that tapped her hand and said her name. Said, "It's me." Like he was sitting near her or next to her or something like that for a while. I said, "It's me." And she said, "Me who?" And then she said the dude's name you're supposed to meet. She was totally catfished, as they call it. And she broke out into tears. She asked him why. Because they talk on the phone every day. He said, "I want you to get to know me for me." That's fake. That's not knowing you for you. But let's continue. I got the story out of her. That's my point. Let's see. What topics you found are enough to get to know her well enough as a person before the first sexual encounter that you can take her from the coffee date to fuck. Now, how come when I met girls in the club, there was no coffee date? I think I told you guys that I would often ask, Craig to get their name the next day because Craig would sleep on my couch. He had moved to San Francisco and he would come up every weekend and we'd party, go out and he would club it. So I would, send a signal. So he'd ask their name the next day. How come I didn't even know these girls' names and I'm still taking them home and fucking them? That's the question he should be asking. Avoiding becoming a male friend or what they call the friend zone. Never happened to me. Even that last video had some people in the chat saying they escalated too soon. I don't have a problem with escalating too soon as long as you get it done. You get them in bed. And it's in bed where you get the really good juicy stuff. Really good juicy topics you can talk about. I get the approach with your environment to open, but my question is getting more in-depth info on the first coffee date to build enough connection to move it to fucking. And that's a question I can answer. It doesn't have to be a coffee date, fellas. It could be over for a drink. In fact, a drink is actually better, but a lot of you guys are underage. That's why I say coffee date. I met Jovina for a drink. Okay. Tanya, I met her for a drink. Your goal is to go on these and have her laughing, get her laughing. Your goal is to have a relaxed conversation. Now, if you're very nerdy and very uptight, well, I don't really think that your answer was correct. Like that FSQ, you know what you're doing, FSQ. Analyzing. I said yesterday about Dave Chappelle. He had the pickle jar. I forgot. It was actually that, like he was pointing out to me that in Living Color skit, he had the pickle jar. About Ashley Larry. I think the character name was Ashley Larry. Whatever it was, I don't care. but I did see the goddamn show. Anyways, when you get really nerdy like that, that's what you're carrying into conversation. That type of personality, which is not even fun to talk to. You got to learn to relax. And as I said, and this fellow's talking about, looking for breadcrumbs, as he'll mention in the next email to me. Look for those breadcrumbs. You want to have just a relaxed, fun conversation. As I try to tell you guys, when you talk to, like, you meet a guy your age that has a similar background, you have no problems. Well, some of you guys have problems making friends, but most of us have no problems making friends. Right? Then we exchange numbers. Yeah, man, let's go out Friday night. It's as easy as pie. It should be the same thing with women. When you start putting women on the pedestal where you got to figure out all this A1, A2 stuff on them, let me just say that's just not natural. So to build a connection where it moves the fucking is you've got to get her relaxed. Your conversation should be designed to get her to relax and enjoy the conversation with you and lead her during the conversation. When you're the type of man that naturally leads, you won't have that problem. If you're not the type of man that naturally leads, you have this kind of problem. If you're not a natural leader, if you're not naturally confident around women, then you have this type of fear thing. This fellow is sending me emails about. If you study any kind of player out there, when they show up for a coffee date, you'll see that they're all relaxed, laid back, laughing, touching her. Nerds call it keno, whatever. But the conversation has a flow to it, and they're both relaxed. And he's very sexual. That's the thing, is you got to go into the certain state of becoming very sexual during that conversation. And that's when my voice changes and my voice lowers. I have that little smirk. The look in my eyes. The way you said, mm-hmm. That drops her into the sexual state. It's really a matter of leading by states. Dropping in certain states. What over the years have you found are common topic trends that you have covered on First Meetup to apply? Like how you always use the animal color. I used it in club too, by the way, fellas. Like I told you, I'd ask the bartender for a pen and paper, and she'll give me a napkin and a pen, because they write their orders down on pens. I've done it in the club, but also I've done it over the little mini dates, coffee dates or drink dates. So the question is common topic trends. Let's see. Let me go back to one of the dates that I had for the internet. Our topic, Julie, let's see. Our topic was, she was from Fresno, and I asked her about Fresno. What it was like growing up there. I learned a lot. And I actually had talked to her over a period of time on the internet. You guys shouldn't be using emails. You want to get your women into some form of, the new word is DM. Back in my days, it was called instant messaging. Some form of instant messaging app where you talk to her in real time. You've got to get these women off the sites into an instant messaging app. So you want to say, do you have X app, whatever it is. Find an app that works where you can talk. Preferably on your computer, because going like this still takes too much time. It's too slow. You got to be able to type. So you want her, if she doesn't have a computer, then you got to use an app. But some of you guys are so afraid to ask or tell them. Like I used to meet girls on Yahoo. Yahoo had a big dating app. Not on the phone. It was not on the phone. Okay? It was on the computer. And I didn't have a laptop back then. I didn't get my first laptop, I think, till 2007, wasn't it? I think I announced when I got my first laptop, which I gave away to somebody. to one of my sons. Anyways, damn, I should get that back from him. So I would say, do you have their instant messaging? And I make them download the program so we talk real time. Because they wanted to talk to me, though. You see, I'm not hoe chasing a girl. This girl approached me. She saw my profile and liked it. They wanted to meet me. You guys aren't used to girls wanting to get with you. That's your main problem. You don't have the kind of charisma that attracts women that want to get with you. And you're trying to make up for it with some kind of magic topics. I could talk about shit. I'm literally taking a dump. Well, that's not the topic. I can literally talk about eating cornflakes. You know, it's not about the topics. It's about how they feel about you. And that feeling should be there before you can go on the date. How do you think she's going to go on a date with you if she don't have some kind of feeling for you? Think about that, fellas. If she's willing to go on a date with you, she's developed some type of hope. Maybe this is the right one. Some type of feeling. With me, I've talked to them before. I talked to them on instant messaging. And if I met at the club, I always, because this thing was going around back in the early 2000s, get a girl's email address. Who's doing that these days? When you ask for the number. Oh, go and put your email in there. Do you know how well you can communicate with a written word? Do you know how powerful it is? I bet you guys don't. I bet you guys aren't even listening to me right now. I bet you're doing your chat like a bitch shit right now. I'm not even going to go look. I just know how some of you guys are. That's why you don't learn shit when I'm trying to teach you something. That's why you stay stuck on stupid in this fucked up game. I'm trying to give you guys the guidepost to success, and you end up chatting with each other. So when these females met me, they were already ready to fuck. It's just a matter of seeing how I was in person. And of course, I'm the kind of person that you meet me in person, it's going to be okay. I know how to sell myself. So obviously, this fella is used to the old PUA thing, where you gotta fight every step of the way to get her in the bedroom, which it shouldn't be. Your women should be waiting for you to say, "Let's go home." That turned on by you. Now, how many of you have started your own part-time businesses? So you can tell a female, either online or text or whatever, when she asks about you, yeah, I do this, and I also own a part-time business. How many of you guys have done that? Right now, of you guys watching this video, how many of you have done that? Then you wonder why females ain't impressed with you. Oh, I work at Subway. Or I work at this. I do this. Ain't got nothing good to say for yourself. Women love a man that has direction. They want a man that has some kind of direction like that. Think about it. Put yourself in their shoes. Would you rather date just Joe Schmo that worked at, let's say, AT&T? Or Joe Schmo that worked at AT&T, but also he had a part-time business? See, when they have bragging rights, they want to seal the deal. Don't think that when I first started talking to Jovina, she didn't know a damn thing about me until we got over a drink at that bar. I didn't mention I own my own business. Jovina, on our first date, did I tell you about that I owned a business as a personal trainer? She probably can't remember.
We did talk about that.
Yeah. Did that impress you?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Women are impressed by guys that own their own business. So women would rather, date a guy that owns their own business rather than a guy that, like if I work for Pacific Bell. Yeah, I work for Pacific Bell Telephone. Versus, did you not go to your work? When did you finally tell your coworkers about me? Your coworker about me?
That you owned your own business.
No, when did you finally tell them, though?
When did I tell them?
Yeah.
After a couple of months that I knew that we were...
Solid.
Yeah.
And did you make sure you mentioned that I own my own business?
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah.
Especially Joanne, because
Mm. So she asked you, who are you seeing now?
Yeah. She says, oh, I live vicariously through you, so I like to hear your stories and what you're up to.
Yeah. I'm sure you censored those.
I censored them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, women, when you're the kind of man that will give a woman something to brag about, you're the kind of man they want. And they're going to try to get you in bed to seal the deal quickly. Okay? To land you. I can't help because you don't put something into your life. Okay? I've told you guys to go out there and do something extra. I told you go join Toastmasters. Jovina, when I started competing Toastmasters, did you not brag to your coworkers about it? How I was beating this guy and that guy, everybody.
Yeah, that she won all the competitions and stuff.
See, she was bragging about me. I already knew that. I never asked her that. Did I ever ask you that question? Jovina.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, I don't think I did either. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever really asked her that. I just knew. Because I know women. I back engineer women. So when you have something going on in your life that they can brag about, they want to seal that deal quickly to land it. They want to become your woman, and they want you to be their man. So this looking for these magic topics, any topic is good enough. As long as you get her relaxed and laughing. Like you can find humorous stuff about her childhood. One day she got lost and found a cardboard box and rolled down a hill on it or something. You can talk about things from your childhood that was funny. I don't become a male friend because I'm not the kind of guy that she wants to make a friend. I'm the kind of guy that she wants to fuck. You got to learn to separate yourselves from those two. That's why you guys end up in that male friend zone. You're not the kind of guy she wants to fuck. Again, it's all about who you are. As I tried to teach you yesterday about states of being. How many of you guys listened to that and actually went back and played it again to truly understand it? It's those people that'll achieve the top. 20% of you watching me right now will do good in the game. Of that 20%, it's usually about 5% of you guys that will reach your top level of your game. So 80% of you guys are just jack-offs. You're just YouTubers. You're watching me right now for entertainment, for some good ideas, but you don't really apply. Like when I said, try to start a part-time business, you guys aren't going to do that. Even though it adds extra charisma to you. Like I tried to get my boy Craig, he was a TV producer. I said, put that on your card. Give the card to chicks. That gives him bragging rights. He didn't want to do it because he didn't want to jeopardize his job. They might know what I do. Shut the fuck up, man. Just do it. Did he do it? No. So he gets the approach with your environment, yeah. In the clubs, it was just walk over and dance. That's why I like the club so much. Don't have to worry about environment. Pick up ahead of borders, as I told you guys. She was biracial, triracial, whatever. And I asked her if she was interested in France because my son just moved to Paris. That was my opening line because I was using the environment. The bitch that worked for the state, I gave her my card. I said, you know what, I'm on the way out, but here's my card. Give me a call sometime. The one that I talked about that would throw her at legs, ass way up in the air so you had to climb up to stay in the pussy. She was married to a Filipino dude. I also gave another woman my card when I was experimenting with the whole card thing. They called, but the mixed chick, she didn't like it because she said to me, a man's supposed to call a woman. But hey, I was like giggling because she still called me. The other married one that you guys saw put money in my account. She called me. It sat there for weeks till she finally called me. The one that was married to a Filipino, it sat there for a few days before she finally called me. The doctor I got her phone number and her email, and I sent her one of my bomb-ass emails. I danced with her. She got really turned on. So they already were turned on to me, and I'd already primed them before we met. And the doctor, we didn't even meet. She came to my place just to get fucked. I'd already met her at the club. It was actually in Sacramento, this place called Mace's, the pavilions where the rich white people and rich Arabs went. And they had a live band outside. They were doing live music for the rich people. So she came over, jumped in the bed. As I said, my boy Craig filmed it. Let's see. You made sense that it shouldn't be a pickup artist roadmap, but having in mind topics. See, if you go in there with topics in your head, you're a fucking nerd. Sorry to put it that way. Sorry to be so brutal. Sorry to say you're a fucking nerd. But let's be real. You're going to walk in there with a fucking topic in your head? Who does that? From the natural world, and I want you guys to do your own survey, from the natural, real world, who does that? Ask some natural dudes that, you know, are good with women. Do you go in there with topics in your head? With a list of topics? Only this online fucked up community people do that type of shit. And I like putting the word fucked up to let you know how fucked up that kind of ideology and thought is. Who the fuck does that? Again, let me refer to Jovina. My amor. This fellow wants to walk in on a date with a list of topics in his head.
What do you mean topics? Like,
The things to talk about.
no, you have to let the conversation
Flow.
go natural. You know,
This kind of creeps me out, fellas.
start off with one question, you go from there.
Yeah.
Something about her. We're gonna talk about something about her, like what do you do for a living if you don't know?
Yeah.
Or, you know,
What do you do for a living? Then explore it. Why did she get into it? What did she like about it? Does she have trouble at work?
Because you don't want it to sound like a job interview.
Exactly. You got a list of topics. A roadmap. See, that's that left brain mentality. They want A, B, C, D.
Okay. But
And that makes you more robotic. That's what makes you stressed. That's what puts like a world of weight on your shoulders.
Don't forget. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget, I gotta. Oh. Yeah. So for this fella, it's your mentality that you need to change because you're asking questions from that fucked up, again, that fucked up mentality. It's not a normal mentality, just so you know that. Normal people don't do that. Get a list of fucking topics to talk about. So you make yourself more robotic, which is, Jovina,
Yes.
a man that's robotic is what? A turn off. You've never dealt with a robotic motherfucker.
Not really. Not.
Yeah.
Not to the extent that he's talking about. You know, having a list of things to.
Yeah. See, she only met guys who were like normal dudes. Normal dudes. We get nervous sometimes in conversation, but we don't have a list of things to talk about.
Having a list of.
That's only happened here online. And this is going back to 2005. I saw this 250 list of things to talk about once. And dear God, don't you dare try to ask me for the email or the address of that shit like I would remember it. It was gross. It was a whole list of things, and I'm thinking, who the fuck's gonna memorize that? Who the fuck wants to memorize that? Okay, let's get to what she's talking about. And where's the product how to talk to women? I've bought many of your great programs and want to get the public speaking next. Good. I tried, but make sure when you get the public speaking, you actually belong to Toastmasters. Okay? I made that mistake of learning public speaking with no place to do it. I got books on public speaking It wasn't until I got into Toastmasters I could use it. And again, you see the results. But you gotta be doing it. See, you guys don't want to acquire knowledge. Like some people got my book, How to Make a Woman Come. They've got the knowledge of the world at their fingertips on making women come that I learned the hard way. Nobody practiced it on. Well, it's good to know it before you get a girl, but the knowledge just sits there. There were guys who even had women, and they told me, well, I didn't use it. Why do you guys do that? There is nobody else on this internet, I don't care who you bring up, that has the kind of knowledge that I have. And when I spell it out for you, how come you don't use it? When you see the results that I got from it. I tried the clit rubbing technique of my lady, I think you want to say on my lady. She seemed to enjoy it, but did not orgasm. She tends to only orgasm when she is on top. That's because it's hitting her. She's able to rub. Okay, this is, let's say this right here, this area right here is her G-spot. Okay, your dick is in there, and she's on top. When she bends your dick back, that hits the G, rubs the surface of your dick against her G-spot more. So if you're on top of her, you need to tilt your hips up and aim your dick at the G-spot. Back it out, aim it at the G-spot. Okay? 25% of women, as I've talked about in my videos, cannot get a clitoral orgasm. She may be one of that 25%. And I learned that from...
Only 25%?
Yeah, only 25%.
That's surprising.
You're one of them.
Yeah. I just thought it would be more than that.
No.
Oh, that's a cool.
Remember Sarah?
Yeah.
Magnum's girlfriend? She stated that. So she did some research.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I've done research, but I always just thought it was more than that.
Sorry, babe.
Okay, well, I'm unique. No, I'm
Anything you find, I just told you that. We'll just get around that one. Okay, let's go up to the next message. So in essence, having a good physique and dressing well to get the eye contact is the real name of the game then. Dressing well and having a good physique. There are guys who dress well, who have a good physique, but they ain't got it. That's why I would say yes, but you're missing the part that's called swag, which is your essence, your confidence. So you didn't add the inner game. All you have is just the outer game. Because women can spot a confident male by the way he fucking walks. They can tell a badass by the way he dresses, the way he looks, the way he walks, how he conducts himself. So you only got half of it there, and that half is enough to get eye contact. But if you don't have those other things, that's all you get is some eye contact. You know, they'll look at you. They'll check your body out. That's it. Case in point, there was a guy that was a stripper, a real stripper, and this dude had body out fucking rageous. His shoulders were broad. His waist was like this, like little tiny. He came in at a huge wedge. He had big ass arms and shoulders. Ugly face, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. Jovina, that stripper dude. I just said he had an ugly face. I don't know. I don't judge men. You know, the one with the big arms, with the Kiona.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. It was a different name.
How did you rate his face?
His face? I don't know. 5-ish, 6-ish.
You said 5 or 6-ish. Yeah.
Average.
Yeah, but his body though. His body was like outrageous.
Well, yeah,
He was a stripper.
He worked out. He was
Yeah.
a stripper. He had to keep in shape.
He had that little bitty waist and the V shape out to these, broad shoulders. And, I hated the fucker.
He was, trust me, he was never.
I know. When he opened his mouth,
He's
Exactly. He didn't have it inside. And he was actually overconfident because he just, he went to resort to stripping.
Zero personality.
No personality, yeah.
Overly confident. What I mean by overly, okay, you know how we talk about it's important to have confidence. Yes, it's important to not be narcissistic. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah. He's the type that would have mirrors in his room and while he's fucking. You guys remember that one? I think American Psycho, where he would look in the mirror while he's fucking.
Like the other day when we were watching that show where they drank the champagne and what's his name?
Yeah, Grimm.
He was
he was all in himself. Yeah.
in the mirror.
I told the fellas about that episode of Grimm. Yeah.
That was exactly him.
They made the brother in love with himself. Okay, so he missed the other half of the game, inner game. How did you handle ladies regarding the clit rub technique? They get pleasure but don't come. I figured it out. If I figured that, okay, it's not working there, so I knew to aim my dick. I always made sure the dick was hitting the G spot, but I left that alone, and I would talk to them more. Realize, okay, she can't get a clit orgasm, but she get a vaginal orgasm. And vaginal orgasms, that's where you're dealing with the clitoris and squirting can happen. Where they can, if you hit the G spot, just hit the G spot, you can make girls squirt. All right. Teaching time is over. We can see who's chit-chatting. Here's Brother Grease. Truly Alpha. Hold on. I'm in the middle of some shit. 25 Jai. What's the deal, Supreme? What's up, 25? Mike Crusade. What's good? Love the channel. Thanks, Mike. Grease. Hey, boss man. What's up, man? He says, hey, boss man, what's the good word? Having trouble teaching again, man. As you always say, these guys don't get it. They don't get it because they choose not to. They choose, when I'm trying to teach, chit-chat. So I've been a little frustrated with that since last Wednesday, I think it was. I did a really good teaching, and I come back, and these guys were fucking chit-chatting. Shamar Moore never went on a coffee date by being raised in a blue-collar city. Doesn't have to be coffee. It can be drinks. Like you heard me say, I met Jovina for drinks, that Tommy girl for drinks. Doesn't have to be coffee. Grease, why not ask about her, get the life story? And welcome back there, brother. I was worried like a motherfucker. I was thinking that maybe your dad died, something, Matthew Thomas, man, I get stimulated and so happy when I'm in the flow of a text convo. Me too, Matthew. It's like when I know, I'm in that zone, I'm in that state, and it just comes out. So I know what you're talking about. Michael Nolan, Grease, sounds like you wear your emotions on your sleeve, Matthew. Matthew also says, sometimes I just let my words go and just am a whole load of questions. Michael sent me a video of some kind of porn shit. The two girls sitting there, someone who couldn't see, and he told I think he told the girl to do something, and had the other girl spit on her. Michael, I don't like European sex. I don't like your racist sex. I don't like the spitting on them. I don't like the grabbing their. I don't enjoy what's called white sex. So don't send me any more of those videos. I'm all about making love to women, even though I was a player. Okay, I don't enjoy European style sex at all. I couldn't watch that video. I don't degrading, spitting, telling another girl to spit on her. And by the way, as I told you, they're paid for that. That's porn. So don't send me any more porn, man. Especially European porn. I don't want to see black dudes either. Just no porn at all. Grease, oh, you mind fucking now, Nolan? He seemed to think this porn video, I'll send you the link to it, had two bitches, paid bitches, sitting there, and the guy's talking to him, and he's telling the other girl around. It's a fucking porno. And Michael said, no, I'm wondering how you do it. BDSM looks like it. Not really. BDSM has something that they put women in called subspace. And that's when women, the words hit them so much, they drop into this zone state. And I notice that with females that I talk to. They drop into this certain state. Sharmar, mellow the fuck out. Who are you talking to, Sharmar Moore? Or who are you trying to tell or order to mellow the fuck out? Sharmar. Greece. If my phone sex calls are still on the forum, then it may give you an idea. That gutters state. And Sharmar, fuck phone sex. And Greece says, oh dear, I'd rather be in person at... And Greece says, that so, Mr. Moore. And Sharmar says, true supreme. See, I didn't read you guys' messages. You guys see I was talking, trying to teach you something. Remo, yo, Supreme. What's up, Remo? DM direct message. Thank you. You reminded me. I learned that. I used it yesterday. Today I forgot it. But thanks. It would have came to me later on, but thanks anyway. Yes, and fuck thousands of women this way in my own race and Rican women too. Talk is cheap to me there, Shamar Moore. If you fuck thousands of women, you should be teaching. Matthew Thomas, LOL. By the way, I fucked Britney Spears last night. LOL, I don't know. Is it good to wear your emotions on your sleeve? In your opinion, Richard? It's never good to wear your emotions on your sleeve. What's up, KR? Then Greece said no. Matthew said why? Shamar says, I asked for her number or Facebook. And Facebook would be the new email. Could be the new email because you consider instant messages on there in the messaging app they have. Just don't make your messages, show up on your wall because that shit gets around. Greece, if you wear your emotions on your sleeve, then you will be open to women putting feelings in you. And he goes on to say, you need to reverse the game and put the feelings into them. Matthew, you mean become attached to them? No, he doesn't mean that. He says, don't get crushes on women, and it seems you fall hard. I didn't get that from his message. I thought he's talking about he gets into a certain state when he talks to women. Unless I missed something else he said. And I'm trying to scroll down to catch up, so it probably happens. Back in the day, it was real interaction with beepers and payphones. Now, here's the kind of player I was, Shamar Moore. I never owned a beeper, and I never would take a beeper. You want to know why? Let Grease tell me. A player does shit in the dark. A beeper is like a leash. If she can beep you and you don't call her back, you wonder where the fuck you are. I never would own a beeper. True players wouldn't own beepers. And at least have a bitch, have your beeper number? Hell no. That's a leash. A way to track you down. And for a while there, in the black community, it was like the rage. Everybody's showing off with their beepers on their side and always pretending to check their beepers in the clubs, like they're so important. And then you guys remember when those headphone ears piece came out with a little mouthpiece? These idiots were wearing them to the fucking clubs. Like they're so goddamn important. That's a fool. That's a fucking fool that does that shit. Because a bitch can reach you. No, you take that shit off and leave that shit at home. You go out to the club to hunt. A female should not be able to get a hold of you. Period. And you shouldn't be returning every goddamn call they make to you. Or every text they send to you. Ever. You should be always unreachable if you're going to be a true player. Keep that shit in the dark. A bitch should never know where the fuck you are. And she should never be able to get a hold of you easily. You should be totally that man of mystery that comes in and out. That's how you get the special status. Now, there's also the scrub players that had the beepers, Shamar Moore, that have those earpiece phone things and always, dialing and talking and chit-chatting on their phones. Low levels. Scrubs. Matthew, cool. What have you found works well with putting feelings in them? We'll let Grease handle that one because they're talking. Shamar, I asked you a question, Shamar. Who you telling to chill out? Did I knock off in a week or that night? Never sweat them. Grease asking, have you mastered your text/game convo? And he asked, do you have charisma? Matthew says, yes, I'm working on my text game still. Good. If you have those things and understand your vibration, you can do this. Shamar, I have, and I stop until I get certain things right in my life. Bragging right opens up the whole situation to another level. Depeche, Supreme. I'm attracting fat and ugly women. How do I attract fine women? By becoming fine women material, as you've heard me talk about, Depeche. You become fine women material. So you attract the fat, ugly women. That's where your energy is at. That's where your vibe's at. But I don't think you're only just attracting fat uglies. If you start paying attention, you're attracting more women more on whatever level you are. Like if you're a 5, then you're probably attracting 5s and 6s. If not, even 7s. Let's see. Grease, well, Depeche, why ask for a 9 when you aren't a 9? See, he gets it. Why not practice game on those fat and ugly women? Then go after the dimes. Or work your way up. So if these women are like 4s, work your way up to a 6. Because once you get that confidence, Depeche, once you get rid of all that bullshit that you're in, that depression that you've been having, because when you're depressed, fat uglies are depressed too. They're on the same vibration you are. They hate being fat. They hate being unattractive. They basically hate themselves. You got depression because that fat bitch you had before, by the way, your first girl, she got rid of you. So look at what level you're on. I think black people have this thing where they say, stay in your lane. The bitch says, I got 1 main bitch and 2 potential bitches I'm adding. Man, you always say that shit. I'm talking this, I'm talking that. You always say that, Depeche. When you can show me the panties, then I'll accept it. I think the problem is the young bitches I want are not online. There are tons of young bitches online. Tons of them. Grease, well, have you fucked this main bitch? Shamar, I love having my own. Ellis, I'm progressing. And Depeche, you finally got some sex. Good. Depeche says yes. Grease, so stick with the main and craft your game. Don't add any team members until you own that main. Exactly, I agree. Practice your mind fucking. Practice your sex skills. Practice your just being around a woman. Because a lot of you guys get nervous around women. That's why you need these starter hoes. So you learn to relax around women. So I don't get these questions like what the fellow sent me this morning. Obviously, he doesn't know how to relax around a woman. He doesn't know how to be around women. He's not comfortable around women. He gets awkward and overthinking shit. When you get around women, you should feel natural. You should feel powerful. You should feel in your own strength as a man. You should feel the fun of the game. Grease says, right now you don't. Until she holds your flag as property of Depeche, then your game needs work unless you are trying to be a player. Depeche, with the main, I'm doing the boyfriend shit. Fuck. Lied to her about being exclusive. Okay. But I'm going to this other bitch's house tomorrow. Okay. We can accept that. Grease says, okay, good. Shamar Moore, being the life party is very charming. Being the life party, or do you mean life of the party, is very charming. my mom always had head names for everybody. Like, Shamar, you got a chucklehead. Chucklehead. What the fuck was this charming shit, man? Would you say they're around a bunch of brothers? Hey, man, I think you're very charming. Come on, dog. Being the life of the party is very charming. It makes you stand out with the ladies to you end with a lot women and phone numbers at the... You know what? I never got a lot of phone numbers. The most I ever want is one, because I picked one female. I didn't run around the club trying to feel good, getting a bunch of numbers. I may have did that when I was young. I don't remember. But I focus on one female, and I pull her from the club if she passed my test. If she doesn't, I take her on the floor, and we're dancing, and she gets, a little uppity. She don't get another dance. I go find the next female that's feeling me. And that female, if she's feeling me, she passed my test, I give her the phone. And that's only so that in case we don't leave that night together, she might be the designated driver, she might have kids at home and a babysitter, and I don't want to go into that. She may not be able to come to my place, but there's always the future. So I always will text them a nice little message. And when I was doing the email thing, I would send them a good-ass email. Remind them of how we dance. So I always make sure I went into sexual dancing with women. And that's what turned women on. You can get a girl off on the dance floor and make them have an orgasm. Shamar, let me finish up what he says. In the sack with a different woman. Well, you haven't been vetted, Shamar. I don't know what your game really is. So until I see proof of your game there, Chucklehead, it's all just talk to me. Okay? Greece, you grown since I last saw you? I don't remember Sharmar. Jovina.
Yeah.
I've got a chucklehead. You know that?
For what?
I've got a chucklehead.
You do?
Yeah. Because I see how fat my cheeks are, my chubby cheeks.
Okay.
Well, that prednisone made them fatter. So here, look at this brother's chubby cheeks.
Oh God, I can't see that.
See, that's what my mom would call a chucklehead. When you got those, chubby cheeks. Well, that's probably his name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sharmar.
Oh.
Right, Shamar? Sharmar? See, I'm used to Shamar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sharmar. He's got the full cheeks. And don't let that fool you. Remember all those guys on Cheaters that were big boys? Like the one brother, the one that fucked his own brother's girl.
Oh,
he was a big fat dude, and his brother was more in shape, and she was choosing his fat ass. She don't know. Yeah.
He was available.
Yeah.
So she said.
Yeah.
Is it raining again?
Don't discount us big boys. Oh, I wasn't a big boy in the game, but
It started raining now.
I still get some choosing. I got some bad news, bro. What's up, disoriented hobo? Sharmar, just be who you naturally are. That's all. Everything falls in place. Here's the problem with being, not to attack you there, but with being who you are. If you're a fucked up geek or a nerd, you got to change first. So you want to say, be your ultimate self when you've dropped all the bullshit like I'm shy or I have social anxiety, all that nonsense that people get when they come to this community. They suddenly hear about some disease, social anxiety, which I know they've cataloged now, made it real. But I've got social anxiety. That's what's wrong with me. Be when you're your ultimate self, when you've turned to yourself to be able to relax in the company of women. That's what you want to say, not who you are. Who you are right now is the person, is the reason why you're listening to me. Depeche. As soon as I got the main bitch in my life, other bitches are showing out of woodworks. Did I not say that to you? Did I say once you get into the flow, they start showing up, right? There's proof of what I've been saying. Greece, good, but don't push it. Take your time and see the game. True alpha. That because a lot of guys draw blanks when trying to talk to women. Truly alpha, that's because a lot of guys are hoe chasing women. And they deserve to draw blanks. Also, I have a question for you, Truly Alpha. Now, you're Japanese, and yeah, are you one of the furry people? Is that what that dog thing is? Someone blew up your photograph, your little avatar there, and said you look like one of the furry people. Do you do cosplay? No, you said you're not an anime, though. But I'm wondering if you're one of the furry people out there, man. They dress up like little rodents. And now, when this shit first started, all they were doing was have these, meet up at hotels, have these furry conventions. They dress up and show off their little costumes. And it was all the weird people, the geeks. Skinny boys or the fat IT boys showing up in their little costumes. The same people that go to Burning Man. When I went to Burning Man the first time, I said, if we dropped a bomb on this place, the IT industry would shut itself down. Because every geek and every nerd would get blown up. Greece. Remember, not all females who give you attention aren't ideal. Sharmar, what the fuck? Cuz are serious. Chris. Would you take some offense, Sharmar? I asked you, who were you talking to? When you first said, the question I asked you. Depeche, plenty of guys in the club, tall, good physique, and dressed up, but ain't getting shit. I've seen shorter players just clear up the place, get all kind of mad bitches. Michael, it's mad. I got eye contact a good few times last night, and two hot women started talking to us out of the blue. Was good night. I'm not gonna read the rest because Michael Nolan's weirdness comes out talking about, do anal, girls that do anal. Howard Ellis, got a smiley face. BDSM, Michael's talking about, were you spitting on them, making them... I didn't spit on women. I didn't make a woman lick my feet. I made a female kiss my feet. And Greece says, not really, Nolan. That's degradation. That degradation is there. You should be able to degrade with your words if you want to do something like that. Because you know so much about your female. You know what her weakness is. You know how to push her buttons. How to tear her down mentally. Mental pain is worse than physical pain also. K.R. Hawkins. I just listen and observe mostly. Greece, but it's not entirely about spitting on them and getting your feet licked. Christopher, what up, player? What's up, Christopher? Your teaching is always helpful and informative. Thanks for listening. I'm trying to give you guys the real game that works in the real world, not this online internet shit. Let's see, Sharmar. I always took to bars because that at my spot or at a restaurant. You didn't go to clubs, Sharmar? I mostly went to clubs. Most of my game happened in as they say, the hardest market in town or in the game. Because a lot of guys, they fear the clubs because they can't dance. Maybe they're afraid of competition from other males. I dived right in and soared to the top. Let's see. Hello, Trouble teaching. No, Grease says they just need to listen. Now, how do I get them to listen? That's the problem. I finally had to tell them to shut the fuck up while I'm teaching. Get them to listen. But you know what? Those that have the desire to Grease, they're gonna be paying attention. Those that are YouTubers, they're gonna sit here chit-chatting with each other. That's why I realize only a percentage of them are gonna get to the top of their game, and they're the ones that are gonna listen and pay attention and soak it up. What I'm talking about, the game level, isn't for everybody. Also, like most of these guys will never, in your case, have a girl make a shirt saying "property of Richard." They're never gonna own a bitch like that. They're gonna have like your situation now, where you have the doctor bitch proposing to you, and her girlfriend. Your dynamics there. You got two females up under you. They want you to rule them. They'll never have that because it's not their mentality. I think. What I should start doing is advertising my channel so I can bring more potentials in, and I can develop those. As you guys know, I don't even advertise this channel. People always wonder, why don't you have more students? Because I don't advertise the channel. When I want to rank a video, I rank a video on the first page of YouTube. Get a video on Google, you got to do way too much shit. I just rely on YouTube population, because that's where people go to get answers. Grease, coffee dates should be made to qualify a woman. Exactly, yeah. Qualify and develop rapport. From there, after you relax, and usually I've qualified my women before I've gotten on the coffee date, because I had IM, instant messaging, not DM, direct messaging. And Remo, what's the difference between direct messaging and instant messaging? Wouldn't that be the same thing? Anyways, so I've already qualified them by the time I got over the dates. Like I said, I love to get that email. I love to put them on IM conversation and talk to them for a bit. Get the chit-chatting and shit like that. Get that good conversation out there. As Joe Venezon said, that good Portuguese. I try to get that good conversation out there. Don't use coffee dates as a real date. Exactly. It's as he said, it is your time to qualify, to find out as much as you can, find out what buttons you can push. I normally did that, as I said, back then I had instant messaging. I figured them out. If I didn't get over that, then in person. And there were girls that were shy about talking about stuff online. They were so afraid. Back then, they actually they could pull up anybody's instant messaging conversation. I guess it's all public domain stuff. Grease, use it to get the life story and get the report. Exactly. There it is right there. KR, I use coffee dates to see if I click with women or not. And I agree with KR there also. I'm trying to think of chicks I didn't click with when I think it happened once, but I don't remember her. Fuck. Michael Nolan's trying to tell us about pimping. He says pimps do degrade them like the spitting. No, they don't. I don't even know what movie he would see in Ireland where they did some stupid shit like that. I've never seen anyone black in the porn do stuff like that. It's only your race that does stuff like that there, Michael Nolan. I don't know why you guys do that. I don't know why you gotta stretch their mouths out and spit down their mouths and degrade women. I've seen some blacks come close to it once. The slapping and yelling. But that was part of their program. They were told to do that. There was some black guys mixed with some white guys. They all were gang banging a bitch. It's that one where they had in BDSM, some kind of BDSM room. I'm sure they still do that type of shit. Grease says, hey, boss man, the main wants to take me to go look at cars in a bit, so I may dip out in a few. Okay. Let's see what's up, Kiara. He says, it's been a minute, Kiara. Nothing much. Enjoying this unusual winter we're having. And he says, I'm in Washington. We've had flooding down here, too. I know the deal. You must be on the East Coast. Sharmar. When talk about, then he says again, when talk to women you must be on a cell phone, man. To remain calm. That I said mellow the fuck out. Okay. I do teach the young cats in my area too about this game. Good. But at the same time, I got diffuse the mess up women in my state. I always thought people that watched my shows were on like laptops. I didn't realize so many of you guys are actually on cell phones. Can someone tell me, how do I go to YouTube and leave a fucking message on YouTube? I haven't figured that shit out yet. And I've got the most advanced cell phone on the planet. Grease. Oh, don't say my player rules, brother. Wait. These cats will take the wrong way, LOL. But a player always does his best shit in the dark. It should always be in the dark and stay in the dark. As I said, that's why I didn't take photographs. I just started taking photographs and saving shit, so I got into this community. There was so much shit I could have had. But in the 90s, there were no laptops. I didn't know anything about desktops back then. They really didn't I didn't get my first one until I think it was 98. And it had 15 megabytes of memory. It was, you guys heard of this place called Tower Records and Tower Books? They're actually out of Sacramento. They were all over the world, and the whole thing collapsed. Borders came out, and Barnes & Nobles came out during their collapse. But anyway, one of the IT guys was one of my clients, and he gave me one of their computers. And 15 megabytes of memory. That's it. Don't mention RAM. Then I got what was called an E-Tower. I used E-Tower as my first computer. And it was under a gigabyte. It was like maybe 500 megabytes. It would take an hour. I don't use it for porn. And I went to AOL, their little chat room. That's actually the second computer I had. I went to AOL's chat room. So they didn't have that shit back in the 90s. KR. I remember this guy was complaining that he only tracks 5s and 8s. Like that's a bad thing. That's what really irritates me, KR. That irritates the fuck out of me. These guys that do that, they're raised on internet porn. And their ideology of a real woman is skewed. It's fucked up. Also, these were the geeks from high school that crushed on the cheerleaders, and they couldn't be part of the popular group. So they sat back like little dweebs, slathering over the beautiful, hot cheerleader type chicks. Basically the popular people. And that's where they focus. They're trying to get revenge on basically themselves and their high school days by only focusing on the dimes, which they can't get. So they sit there whining like little bitches. Whereas there's women that want to fuck them. Okay, Shamar and KR talking. KR talking. Matthew. There are some nice chunky women these days. And Greece says, hit those chunky women. I'll help you. Smiley face. How do I market to them? Greece says simple. KR, there's nothing wrong with chunky women as long as they don't look like that TV show, My 600-Pound Life. Well, that's beyond chunky. That's just obese. That's morbidly obese. Chunky is the type of females that I actually like. They're curvy. They got ass, a little waist. They don't have a six-pack. I've dated girls with six-pack. I don't like laying against those hard abs. Hard against hard, no. So I like them for them to have weight. And they can take a better pounding, too, if you want to just pound the shit out of them. To me, they're better in bed because when they have extra weight, that produces more estrogen. Because estrogen gets produced in the fat cells. And when it produces more estrogen, it causes them to get more fat. And that fat goes to all the right places, the feminine places. As I said, feminine women have curves. The lean ones that I've been with, they haven't been that feminine. There actually had a lot of masculinity about them. All that hardness. That's why I wouldn't date bodybuilders anymore. Because they're fucked up mentally. Destin, what's going on, Uncle Supreme? Long time no hear. I hope all is well. About to join your site soon. Destin, people always say soon. It never happens. Soon means you just want to give me a nice plug there. Thank you. But it never happens. It's $5. So you're saying you don't have $5 right now? And if you go to your bank, there's not $5 in your account you can transfer to PayPal? Not to put you down for it. I get tired of people saying that. Chris. What's up, everyone? What's up, Chris? Matthew. Cool. I think I need to evaluate my market, Greece, though. How do I start to find my market? Sharmar. I know my writing is bad. Yeah, man, it's really bad. Think about me having to read that shit, man. Thanks for answering the question, Greece. He says, simple, what kind of women are choosing you? Christopher Williams, what's up, Greece? Greece, white, purple, black, KR. What I'm learning is whatever you attract, that is your market. Exactly. All you gotta do is go to a club, see what type of women give you eye contact. Another way to do it, which may not be fair or not, but put your face up on Hot or Not and see what kind of number you get. Although I don't recommend it. Michael Nolan did that, and it crushed him for a while. See, I had rated Michael Nolan as above average in looks for Irish folks. You look at the Irish folks in this country, we have Colin, what's his name? Colin Farrell, the actor guy. I guess he's Irish. He's considered, top of the line in looks. Kevin Gatto. Supreme, how do you make a woman sexually attracted to you? Well, that's a very good question. Let's start with, I'm going to put this out there, let's start with the physique. Women like a nice physique, but there are lots of guys who don't have nice physiques that get women sexually attracted to them, but that's one of the things you can look at doing, making sure your body is on point, because every little bit helps. The fellas who don't have, the bomb-ass physiques, if they had the bomb-ass physiques, just think what their game would be like, along with other stuff. So, you want to have the kind of personality that turns them on, that makes them excited. That means, as I've been saying the last few days, you want to have a sense of humor. You want to have that dominance about you. Yeah. Those two things right there will get them sexually attracted to you. Also, here's something from me. When you're in that sexual state all the time, and you're radiating sexual energy, like I used to do when I went to the club, I would put myself in that sexual state. like I'm doing right now. And the way you talk becomes very different. The way you move becomes very different. And when you start thinking about, how when you look at a woman and you can picture her being up underneath you and the things you're going to do to her, that puts them in the same state, the same sexual state. Christopher at Player, when I go on the forum, where will I post pics of my starter hoe? Just create a thread. Okay? Do I send it to you directly? Actually, Greece has it right there. Post it in the field reports. See, I don't even know my own forum. Field reports, yeah, he's correct. There's a section called the field reports. Make a thread. Okay? Greece, what kind of car are you guys going to look at? Please do, and I'll even reply to the post. Christopher, I just wanted to respect the house because I'm new in the forum. Use tinyurl to host your pics. That's good advice. I didn't know that. Shamar, hoe chasing gets you nowhere because and Greece says only hoe chase when you mastered your game. That's when you're at the top of your game. You just learn to socialize yourself. It's not really hoe chasing. You just talk to bitches because you got that kind of confidence about yourself. If bitches in front of you, you open your mouth and speak to her. You don't just stand next to a female, not say something. You become a very social animal when you get to the top of your game. You have that confidence. You know you can fuck the shit out of her. You know you can bring her all kind of bust ass nuts. You know you can take her money from her, get her money out of her. That kind of confidence, you talk to females. You're always marketing yourself. Now, here's the problem with saying when you master your game there, Greece, that I found when I start telling people that. Suddenly they master their game and they want to run back to hoe chasing. They start doing it on the forum. I start seeing posts and they're lying. And when I start looking at the post, it's evident that they were hoe chasing. Well, no, you haven't. You mastered being an idiot. Shamar, exactly. It came natural to me. Hobo, went to my ex house yesterday. She called the cops. Okay, I'm going to say this one time, Hobo. Leave that bitch alone. Okay? I'm going to warn you. I warned this one fella back in 2007. I actually met this guy in my town. He lived in my town. He listened to my podcast shows. I met him at a coffee shop downtown. And he was talking about this Asian chick, a white guy, talking about this Asian chick that he was slathering over. And I told him, at the similar stuff you had happen, I told him, leave that bitch alone. And I said it again and again. He kept going on about her. You know, when guys talk to me and I can tell they're not really listening, they don't want to hear what I have to say, they keep bringing it back up. Depeche, you did that. I think you're the one that did that to me when I kept telling you about leave that bitch at the gym alone. I think you're the person I said that to. And you kept bringing her ass up or bringing bitches at the gym up. And to me, it's irritating as fuck. When you guys don't listen, I tell you, leave the bitch alone. He went to jail. Just so you know, Hobo, this guy went to fucking jail. He came back and said, man, I didn't listen to you, man. And I went to jail. So, everybody here, please tell Hobo to leave that bitch alone. So he doesn't go to jail. Jail's looking to lock up every black person in town so they can fund those federal prisons and get free work out of us. Now, if the current president is going to send all the Mexicans back, who's going to do the fucking work? Of course, they're going to start using prison population. They pay them $1 an hour or 50 cents an hour. That's cheaper than using the migrant laborers. So don't become part of that whole system, hobo. Once you get locked up, you're there. You're in the system. If a bitch calls the cops on you, you should have nothing to do with her. Get the fuck away and stay away. Grow up and be a fucking man, like I told you to yesterday. Greece, did you buy all of Supreme's products? I bought 7 Steps and Female Mind Seduction. Greece says, just Female Mind Seduction. Actually, remember you also had my past shows episodes. That's where you got your game from when you're laying in the hospital listening to those. And of course, the Female Mind Seduction. KR, hoe chasing uses a lot of energy, and be prepared of rejection if you can handle it. I say, why bother handling it? If you know how the universe works, let's just say you know how your mind works. You get rejection, negative stuff. It goes in the subconscious mind. What's it doing in the subconscious mind? Let's say your subconscious mind, it represents a pile of shit you drop down there. Pretty soon your subconscious mind is full of shit. So what's going to come out in your outer life? What are you going to create on a subconscious level in your outer life? Shit. And Greece says, and I read it twice a day until I stepped into the game to use what Supreme taught me in the book. And it's very, very lethal thing to do a woman. Recently, a female on my team proposed to me from the mind funky that I did. So, practice with caution. Seriously, he says. Christopher Williams, I'm the same way. I read the 7 Steps and days at a time so I can master each day. And Greece goes on about mind fucking, but practice it. It is useless if you don't practice, which is true. And practice, I mean practice it on women. Christopher Williams. If you guys haven't, I don't recommend, not to go in against anyone, but some of you guys don't need female mind seduction because that's advanced level game. Some of you guys just want to get a girlfriend and just get by how to make a woman come product. If you can make your girlfriend come, then your chance of cheating on you is slim to none, unless you're a total asshole. But then, even then, assholes, they know how to make their females come, and they stay stuck to them. So, for us, people who want to go advance in the game, that's material for that. And Greece will stick with the starter. Don't get 3 females. Practice it on the starter. I agree. Until you own the woman mentally and sexually. Exactly. When you control the mind, you control the pussy. You want to be able to control your women. Have her under you. Greece, well, shit, Supreme. Just said what I posted. That's game. Christopher Williams. Well, the thing about my starter is that she is in Mexico and she can't speak or understand English very well. That's hard because language is your barrier. So you got to learn Spanish. You got to learn to say words like mine amor, or how would Jovina? How would mine amor transfer to Spanish? Mi amor?
That's my love.
Yeah. Try that shit on her.
Oh my god. Does she speak Spanish?
He has a starter hoe in Mexico.
Oh.
She don't speak English very well.
Oh.
Não fala inglês muito bem.
Oh. But maybe she wants to learn how to speak English.
Yeah. But with sex words in bed, he's got the language barrier.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. He's got to learn. Have to learn Spanish, right, Christopher? You got to have to learn Spanish. And Spanish is one of the Romance languages, so it works really well when you learn the Romance language. Don't let her. You learn Spanish, so that way you can say the shit better. Because English is a fucked up. Actually, I like English. It allows you more versatility. But yeah, never mind. Panini. He's fucking knackered. Of course, he's probably been watching football. Not American football. They have football in Europe, which is soccer. Destin, what's going on in Greece? We're gonna need you to teach the game when Supreme hit the road next year. It will be really helpful and beneficial. Destin, a lot of brothers and people on here can benefit a lot if you choose to, but that your decision, brother. You should really think about it. Greece. In Greece, if she isn't in your house or near you, she isn't your starter. Hobo, I went over to talk. We start arguing because she was with some guy and he had the nerve to tell me to just leave. Well, guess what, Hobo? She's not your girlfriend anymore. And guess what, Hobo? She was probably sucking that guy's dick and taking it to the ass for him and doing everything she wouldn't do for you. Okay? So that is no longer your female. Another man has put his energy into what was yours and it now belongs to him or whoever else she's fucking. She could be fucking 3 dudes. Now, I know that hurts, but you have to grow up and get over this shit. I'm a believer in the hard knocks road. You know, expose you to the truth, let you grow out of it, and move on. I mean, what do you think that dude was there? You were just interrupting him getting the pussy. You were cock blocking. Don't cock block just because that used to be yours and she wants to go back there and suck his bigger dick than yours. Think about it. Her taking his dick inside of him. Stretching her out. That's mindfucking, by the way, fellas. What I'm doing to Hobo. Greece. No, Destin, I won't be teaching. I'm retired, but still fell into some team. Christopher, LOL, damn. So really, I don't have a team yet. KR, it's best to charge your ex to the game. She's done. Move on. Exactly. Now, I read that. This thing about it. Yesterday, I read that White Tiger's whole report that I read to you guys. When a woman says it's over, did it mean anything to him? No. He still went over there. If she's inviting other men, she's done with you. And she's ready to get up on top of some new dick and ride new dick and come all over that fucker. She's ready to obey this man because he was a bigger man than you are. Remo asked you what the difference was between DM and IM in one of your live streams. They are the same. That's what I thought. Why did they change it to DM? Why not just leave it as instant messaging? It's still an app that belongs on a site that plugs into a site, allows people to instant message each other. But maybe with cell phones, that's why they changed it, maybe? Because people access these sites, some of these sites through their cell phone. They got a cell phone app for that. My question now is, can you direct message on Tinder with just a laptop, or do you need a cell phone to direct message? Greece, a master player can reach a female and put feelings in her without her even seeing your face and with your voice and your words, you can send your energy to a female, but that is a God level playership. Women can fall in love with you, never having met you, so they get up and move from another state to be up under you. Okay, Williams, but is she in the USA? Is she in the States? And he says, nope, no sir. Greece, you know what she is doing in Mexico right now? And then he goes on to say, if so, then you don't have a starter. Christopher says, yeah, we keep in touch. And Greece says, find someone local. Here's the thing. Christopher is actually a flight attendant. So he flies all over the world. So he can get a bitch in every goddamn port that he flies to if he runs his game right, where he has overnight stays. The problem is with that is that they don't spend too much time in places, to my knowledge. Sometimes they land, they turn around, and fly the fuck back out. It's only on the overnight lays where he's going to get a chance to go out, try to get some pussy, and land pussy in that town. Christopher, she's always in my Facebook messages. Okay. Are you mind fucking her with your online stuff there, Christopher? Have you got up in her head? Well, the thing about me having a local is that I'm never here in my town. Yeah. He also says, I'm always leaving town because I work for the airlines, so I'm never home the majority of the time. Michael Nolan's back. Supreme. You said before there's a few people you knew you were into the BDSM. I wasn't into BDSM. You mean people that I knew that were into BDSM. It takes a lot of balls to get women to do that for you. Yeah. And? Hey, I've got some big ass balls. Seriously, I got some huge ass nuts. Jason. Greece, are you still with the girl that gave you the money? And Greece says, yes, Jason, I am. And I own that female. Jason, oh, you still in the game or settle down? Jack, what's up, Jack? Jack Gentry. Difference between weak men versus strong men and how different they handle life. Is that a question? I don't see it. Okay, he must be a question. Difference between weak men versus strong males and how different they handle life. Well, the difference is self-evident. I've already described weak men to you. I've already described strong males to everybody in this channel. And the way you are will determine the way you live your life. Weak men get weak men results, as I've said so many times. We have someone on this channel right now who's a weak male. He was arguing yesterday that, respect me. And I explained to him, respect is earned. Not something that you demand like a child. That's a weak man. He just had the cops. His ex-girlfriend called the cops on him today because he went over there like a weak man, trying to beg her to take him back, obviously. And there was another man there. The other man said, hey, you need to get out of here. And she called the cops. That's a weak man. A strong man, well, number one, women like strong men, so he wouldn't have been in that position of her having an ex. But if he had dumped her, he wouldn't go seeking her out. Wouldn't have to. Women like strong men. So your question it's all self-evident. You should know the answer to that just by being a normal human being. I will try to do a video in the future It's an interesting subject. I didn't realize that people couldn't see clearly. See, I could see clearly, and I always thought everyone else could see clearly. You know, a weak man's, full of doubt in their lives, low self-esteem, no confidence. That's weak versus a strong man. The difference is so self-evident. I never pick up long distance numbers. I only pick up numbers from my own area. How do we get to stop? Remo Supreme. I've only been using online to pull females, but I have reached my limit with pulling women online. My profile isn't getting traction anymore. You know what? Neither is mine. Remember I had 31 emails from women? I think I'm down to I was down to 9. Now I think I'm down to 4 emails in there because they drop off if I don't answer them after a while. And I only get maybe 1 or 2 a week. But I don't go in there either. It's like all the chicks that were available in Sacramento seeing this particular one, I guess. Where I need new chicks to find it. Greece, Jason. I ended up with a team when I didn't want one. As for settle down, I'm just being inactive and waiting for the prize to come. But the game finds me. Even when I don't want to, and I can vet that. But who knows what the future holds exactly. Destin. Anyway, Supreme, for public speaking, did you take several classes before you joined Toastmasters? I'd read books on it, and I took it. As you know, I was 40, in my late 40s when I did Toastmasters. Or was it 50s? Early 50s. I don't remember. But when I was 20, I took a class at City College in public speaking. I read books on it. Also, I started giving little mini lectures in my business. So I had a little bit of experience doing it. And I always wanted to be good at it. When I was a kid, I always admired preachers because all they really are public speakers. Politicians, all they really are just public speakers. So I always admired them because they had power. And for that reason, I read books on public speaking. Did it take you... hold on one second. How long did it take you to get good at delivering speeches? Well... over my head. I walked in, the first speech I gave, I won. Now remember, I was also teaching fitness classes. So I was in front of people all the time. So I had a little bit of advantage there. I was, teaching these aerobics classes, fitness classes, weight training classes. I think they call them, what do they call those things now? I can't recall the name. But anyway, I'd been doing stuff in the public settings for a while. Also, I learned to have a lot of self-control. And if you get my product on public speaking, you'll see that the little gimmick that I used that allowed me to win all of my speeches. So I didn't have to worry about memorizing. When Jovina, I got her into it, the week before she had to give a speech, I would hear her doing her speech in her head in her sleep, and she would grind her teeth at night. She was stressed about it. So I walked in good. From there, I got even better. And that happens, and I said to people, you have, I think it was like 10 speeches. Somewhere around number 7, you get damn good. That's when you hit your stride. And you learn to start really developing those exceptional skills of a polished public speaker. How to entertain the audience, how to put out That's when I start projecting my energy into the room. Up to that point, I was still focused on delivering the speech and trying to remember to, hit this point, hit that point, and smile and gesture, all those stuff that comes with learn to be a good public speaker. By number 7, I'm projecting energy to the whole class. I'm using my energy. Put on, I love women with love handles, but not fat. I don't want love handles. Love handles is what men have. Women, they have wider hips. I love women with hips, and they go in at the waist. I don't want a muffin top. That's one of the things I didn't like about Irish women there, Michael Nolan, is the flat ass and the barrel bodies on a lot of Irish chicks that I've seen in the States. And muffin tops, those are love handles where they have, you go up to their hips and they have a roll that bulges out to the side. No, thank you. Christopher, at Greece, but I'm working on getting this chick in the States. Okay, is she within 50 miles, he asked. Christopher says, yeah, but like I mentioned earlier, I'm never in town that much. Kara, I love thick women. Me too. One of my favorite bands, Depeche Mode. This is Depeche. Oh, he came back in a different screen name, huh? By the way, Greece, what made you retire from the game? I thought this game was play or die. And he says, long, long story. Remo, I got a 4.4 on Hot or Not, LOL. Hey, that's better than 3.3. Christopher, that's why I pretty much hunt women when I'm out of town most of the time. See, your job is your problem. You can never become a woman's boyfriend because you're never there. And you never know what they're doing. And remember, if you want any proof of that, start watching the cheaters shows. Look how many of the guys that get cheated on are out of town a lot. I just watched an episode where I was saying earlier, it was the guy's own brother. The big fat one was the guy's brother. And it was because he was gone. He was out of town. He was a bathtub refinisher, or he fixed up old bathtubs. And he was gone for like weeks on end. You can't leave your female that long without getting up into that pussy. Because they get lonely. Greece is asked what do you do for a living that takes you out of town, and Christopher tells him, flight attendant. Oh, lost everything. Fuck. I'll just move one time. Hello, respect me, weak males. So fucking funny, Zen Mac. I'm never going to catch up to your guys' comments. I want to read the comments so people who are not here can understand what's going on in the communication box there. That's why I bother reading that shit out. So they just ain't watching me sit here reading. What's up, you jelly? Supreme, you're right. I seen that shit when women get catfished and the woman will not believe the person doesn't exist, even with all the proof in the world. Supreme still feels that person still alive. Shamar, I'm starting from here. Yo hobo didn't Willie D. You let a hoe be hoe. Haha. Don't go to jail over that slut. Shay Jefferson, what's up, Shay? I'm a female. Welcome. I want to ask you a question about weak men. Really? Okay. I'll look for a question. Destined Supreme. What's the difference of someone being disrespectful versus someone saying you're sensitive for checking someone doing some disrespectful shit, and then someone telling you sensitive for checking them? Here's how I feel about that. If someone does something that you don't like, you're not sensitive for saying, I don't appreciate that behavior. Don't let them convince you that you're some kind of sensitive thing. If someone does something you don't like, say something about it. Be assertive. And don't take the bullshit. Shay, can I ask you a question about weak men? I'm waiting, Shay. What do you think? What do you think of weak men who cry? Well, the main thing is, what do you think weak men that cry? Because you're the female. I think there's some bitch assness. If a man sitting on the couch with you watching a sad movie and he suddenly busts out of tears, run from that dude. Because that's not a man that can protect you. Can you see him? Let's say some man comes up and starts picking on you and you don't want the attention. Can you see that man slapping your man and he cries? That's not the kind of man you want to be with. You're a woman. You should know that. You should feel that. Is it wrong for a man to cry because his head hurts? That's not a man you have. You sure that's not a chick you're with? What kind of man cried because his head hurt? Jovina, you ever heard of a man crying because his head hurts? You're dating some emo dude. Shay? Yes, it's wrong. It's fucking disgusting. Let's say he cried in front of his girlfriend before. Is that bad? Yes, that's bad. You're the woman. You should know this. Don't you? Didn't you lose respect for him?
Let me get this straight. Is a woman asking you this question?
Yes, it's a woman asking me about what I think of a man who cries.
Well, what does she feel about it?
Just a minute. If I suddenly broke down and was watching, I don't know, saw something sad and started crying in front of you,
I think you were a whiny bitch.
Thank you. She thinks I would be a whiny bitch. If a guy pushed me at the club and I cried, would you? You'd leave? Yeah. I told you guys she was fucking heartless, man.
No,
yeah.
I'm not. Come on.
But she's a woman. I
I'd have to walk.
respect her
I'd have to
leave.
walk away before it was too late. Oh man. No.
See how you are? You would get my back when I'm getting beat up. Jovina, help me!
This way, real women want real men. That's how
Exactly. Real women, as Jovina just said, want real men.
That's it.
Okay?
Simple, plain and simple.
Reese says, if you're a man, cry in private, but it is a sign of weakness. Crying when you lost a loved one, that's a sign of weakness. Crying over some silly, emotional shit, that's a sign of weakness.
Yeah, there's a huge difference. If a family member passes away,
Yeah.
you know, it's a natural thing that you're going to cry because you're mourning.
But you're crying because your head hurts?
But, yeah.
Or you cry because they're out of your favorite candy at the store or something?
Wait a minute.
Let's say he cried in front of his girlfriend. Yeah. Guys that cry in front of their girlfriends after they break up, that woman does not respect that man. Okay, Shay? And she also says, I'm not going to look at him like he's less than a man. I mean, we all have feelings. Wow.
Okay. Yes, we all have feelings, and if his head hurts and he wants to cry, do it in private. Don't do it in public.
I can't see crying over pain. Maybe because I pump iron. And I'm used to a lot of fucking pain.
I will say that women can take pain a lot better than men. Just because we do go through a lot more. And you have to admit that.
I actually agree with that.
But, I mean, really show some restraint.
Show some kind of manliness. That's the problem with men these days. And obviously Shay is young. She's dealing with a boy, and boys are being feminized left and right all over the planet these days. A feminine boy. And that's actually going to work for you, Shay. How can you trust this feminine boy to go out there and protect you and be a protector and provider? Shell says, I'm a writer. Okay.
I don't know. I guess there's some women out there.
Hold on. He also cried one time when he was 16 because he was raped. Is that okay? There it is. He got turned into a female when he got raped. That's why he's acting like a female. A man, obviously.
So he's got issues.
Yeah. That's a man that's going to end up in bed with another man, too.
He's damaged, pretty much.
She goes, I got a better one. Let's say he was raped. Is it okay that he cried?
Well,
She goes, no, I'm not a writer. Okay, I misunderstood then. Let's say he was an adult. How many guys are going to cry tears, crocodile tears, if some dude knocks you out and raped your ass? Would you not just be blind hatred?
Yeah, you'd be angry and want revenge.
And yeah, I would cry. No, I'm not going to cry over it. I'm going to get my goddamn revenge. Make him cry. Let me go back, catch up the conversation. I want to see what she had to say. I missed a lot of conversation up there. Shay, okay. Oh, I am not going to look at him like less. And Grease says, then that is the answer you need, as you are the female. If it doesn't bother you, then good. But a man who is very emotional is no good. I totally agree with that. These emotional feminine males out there. Frank Scott, what's up? My phone just wouldn't let me leave a comment on a video until I set up an actual YouTube account. Well, I have a YouTube account, Frank, and I can't still figure out how to use my goddamn iPhone to leave comments. After that, I was able to comment on your video. He says, okay, everyone, I'm out. Boss man, I'll send you an email with what I chose. Okay. But this is my second choice. Why not go for your first choice? He also cried one time when he was 16 because he was raped. My question to Shay is, why are you dating this man? I'm sorry, this kid. You see, I wanted to make a likable but different original male character. Well, Kevin says, I will kill that motherfucker. Yeah, I feel you. Or make him wish he was dead. You know, like what they did on the island of Seda. They shoved a mackerel up the gay guy's ass. You know how big mackerels are. My question, she goes, I'm single, I am a writer, and a social scientist. I just wanted to see your reactions. I love asking weird questions. Oh, okay. So we're some kind of a social experiment for you. Now, if you see the title, The Real Men's Channel, obviously a man that cries is against the real men. Yes. Glad you understand that. KR, I'm not going to let someone rape me. I don't care. The dude is 6'10", I'm 5'5". I'm going to fight until the death. Until he knocks you out. It's like in prison, man. When you got a gang of brothers up on you, what can you do? Fight till they knock you out and hope that you can wake up from it. Because I understand you need surgery after that kind of shit. Okay. Shay says, you see, I'm so bored. You misspelled bored. For a writer, you got to be able to spell it correctly. I'm 17, you're a child, and don't have much to do. So you found my channel. Kara says, oh, you're a kid. Well, at least I'm proud of my guys for not trying to push up on you. When a chick comes around, these knuckleheads will usually try to push up, try to get to know you, try to talk to you, as if they're going to get somewhere, some chick online. My question to you, why are you single? I'm waiting for her answer, fellas. I asked her why is she single. I don't know. Why aren't guys approaching you, Shay? Are you like one of those emo chicks? People say that I'm weird. There you go. Now, why do you put out that weird persona? And obviously, you don't realize you're using that as a shield to keep people away from you. So what's happened in your life that makes you want to keep people away from you? I'm waiting for the answer. Here we go. I don't know. I believe I am more open-minded than most people. I used to be homeschooled all freshman year. I am black. Keep going. Keep talking. While you're typing, how do you feel about our race? First kiss in high school. Okay, I'll bring that up in a minute. So how do you feel about our race? I think we could do better. Yeah, I agree with you. I think we could do better. So what was that first kiss like in high school? Did he softly kiss your lips or did he come in? "La, la, 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 la"? It was great. What was great about it? So your first kiss was with a female, correct? And again, was it soft? Was it hard? What was what do you call a great kiss? And Dupree, think about the Asian race. You never hear anything bad about the Asian race. When you say, all races do better, I always put the Asian race, the top three races on like with a bit of a pedestal. They do well in life. It felt nice. We made out for a little bit. But that's all I say. Are you gay? I don't know, honestly. Well, you should have some idea by 17. I mean, do you think boys are cute? Are you more attracted to girls? That first kiss, it might have affected you, but if that first kiss had happened, would you still be attracted to girls, or do you find boys attractive? Cold Bear Teddy, I asked you a question on the forum. She goes, I like boys. Good. But they never make a move on me. Well, it depends on what you look like, how you dress. Okay? If you dress like a weirdo or like you're a dyke, they're not going to make a move on you. Okay? Unfortunately, what you got to learn is how to market yourself. And boys like to see tits and ass, to be brutally honest with you. We want to see, the top portion of your tits, and we want to see, what kind of ass you got when you're working with back there. And I just realized you're 17. I can't really talk to kids. You jelly. Says, what's up to Cool Teddy? Small ones are okay. Cool Bear Teddy, I used to be sensitive back in the days. Now it's it doesn't pay to be sensitive of petty shit. I agree. Plus, a man learns to be a little bit harder. He learns to be hard in his life. It's fine. I've been exposed to a lot of things. Yeah, but she was referring to me not want to talk to her. She's 17. But I feel creepy, like a creepy old guy. Cool Teddy, I left you an offer on the forum. I want to train you and you Jelly for the next month. So send me a private message. Actually, I already know your current weight, but if you're interested, you're going to use my diet program and my training videos that I'll produce. So for the next month, I want to train you and you Jelly. Shay says, anyways, I was bullied all through middle school, homeschooled freshman year, went back to high school on my second, third year. So the reason why I asked how she felt about black people, because I was forming an image of her personality in my head. She said she was homeschooled. And usually people that are homeschooled come from black families. And oftentimes those families, her parents know that she get a better education at home, obviously, and they tend to be better educated parents, better socially aware of shit that's going on. I don't know her situation, but that's what I'm assuming, that her mom pulled her out, and it's not because of some other type of shit going on. I've seen black girls like her. A lot of times they end up dating, Caucasian males. In fact, they find Caucasian males to be attractive. Supreme, did you email me the program? Nope. I have to finish building an actual site for this, which I'll be done today. You'll have it before Monday, tonight. In fact, when I get off this call in a few minutes, I will go ahead and finish up the site. I'm sorry to hear that, Shay. Christopher, how can you maintain staying in a positive state when there are so much negative things around you? That's hard. I know that it's really hard to do, man. I absorb negativity from this community. So I'm not a master at staying in a positive state. What helped me when I was in the game was I always thought about the good things about myself. And I always was excited to land new women or to work with the ones I was working with. That made me happy and smile. Being me made me smile every day. Shay, my friend told me I was an embarrassment to her and hit me. Really? Why? Why did she say that, and why did she hit you? Michael, Supreme, is it true after years? I'm not going to answer that question. I don't know. I've heard that their asshole gets stretched out, but can you stop with the porn shit, man? You seem to be focused on anal sex a lot, man. Christopher, you said the universe will challenge you, and I will place myself in positive environments and around positive people, but there are times where I have to force my emotions to get in a positive. Then there'll be times you have to force it, but do it. It's not going to be an easy ride. Life is not guaranteed to be always sunshine and roses. There's sunshine and rain, like joy and pain, from that rap song. Let me finish it. Listen to me, God's children. Sunshine and rain. You jelly supreme. Okay, thank you. Awesome. Let me give you my phone number on Facebook if you want. Contact me when I'm not around. Okay. Shay. Then we start. Did I miss something from her? I asked her why she said that. But she comes back with, then we started fighting. She was pulled out of school because she tried killing herself. She told me to stay away from her boyfriend. So it was over her boyfriend. I talked to her boyfriend and her friends. She didn't want me talking to her boyfriend or her friends. So she was violent. Well, she sounded like a loser. She was jealous of you talking to her friend, her boyfriend, and her friends. That's not a real friend, by the way. Okay, fellas, I'm out of here. I got to finish creating this site and start uploading the workouts, or the first week of workouts for the two fellas I'm going to be training. Cool, Teddy. I need you to contact me on inside the forum. All I really need is just to be able to send you a link to where to start your workouts. Also, I need to know if you have any joint problems. I understand that you probably don't. Sorry, Shay, I've got things to do. So, I want you to start be ready to start the workout Monday. Be ready to start the new diet program Monday as well that I'm going to send to you guys. Okay? Actually, it'll be part of your workout. I'll have the first week of diet listed, then you'll have your first workout day. And you're going to use that workout for the week. Hopefully, you can work out at home. If not, as Jelly's going to do, go to a gym. Shay says she wants to talk more. I could tell you my life story. You can even read my screenplays. I would enjoy that a lot, Shay, but I actually have work to do for two of the guys that are on here right now. So I'm sorry I can't listen to your life story at this moment, but maybe in the next call, okay? Fellas, I've got work to do. Again, I'm trying to open up my online personal training, and I need 2 guinea pigs. That's what you are, you Jelly and Cool. You guys are my guinea pigs to try out my workouts. And of course, I'll be wanting to get lots of feedback from you. I want to see the improvement and development within you. Okay? I got to go, fellas.